Good evening and welcome to tonight's YouTube live event from Camden Military Academy, Conversations with Camden. Tonight we're going to be discussing our summer options. So if you have any questions, feel free to start hashtagging those with Camden Summer and posting them to any of our social media sites, and we'll get as many questions tonight as possible. Tonight, again, we're all dressed kind of casually because at our summer program is a non-military summer school. Now it still has a lot of military twist and flavor to it, but we do not require a uniform and we do not require haircuts. And so these four cadets that are now with us during the school year once attended summer school. So they're going to tell you about their experiences and what it's like to be here. Just one last reminder about summer school. About how to ask your questions tonight. We want you to ask those on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube. You can email us, admissions@camdenmilitary.com. But use that hashtag Camden Summer, and we will get as many questions as we can. So just keep sending those questions in. If you have it for a particular student you want to know an answer from, let us know his name. We will get to him. All right. And also our summer program, just a little bit about it. We have a middle school program and then a high school program. So we have a couple of cadets that have experienced the high school program, and then one that's been in the middle school program, so they can kind of tell you the differences between the two. And then we also hope to kind of compare and contrast the summer school with the school year. So we hope to cover a lot tonight. And we're going to go ahead and get started with these guys introducing themselves. And guys, if you will, tell everyone your name, your hometown, and then what grade you're currently in. And Barrett, we'll start with you.
Hi guys, my name is Barrett Glasgow. I'm from Charleston, and I'm currently a senior at Camden Military.
All right, Mikhail.
Hi, my name is Mikhail Barker. I'm from Carlsbad, California, and I'm currently a junior.
We'll go to Nick.
How's it going? I'm Nick Furlow. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm in 9th grade.
All right, and Timothy.
I'm Timothy DePere, 8th grader at Camden Military Academy from West Des Moines, Iowa.
All right, good. So as you can see, we have the United States represented. We actually, during the summer program, will have international students as well. So we will pull students from everywhere. You do not have to be a CMA school year cadet in order to be a summer school student. We have guys that come to the summer school program for a variety of reasons, whether to jump ahead academically, work to get ahead so they can graduate maybe a little early, but then also guys here that are repeating classes where they maybe did not do as well, during the school year, so they need to get those grades up. And then we have other guys that just come in simply to check us out, see if it's a good idea for the school year. So it's kind of a wading in versus jumping into the water all at one time. And I think all these guys that are represented tonight will share their own story with you about how they ended up here at Camden. So we're going to start though with Barrett. Barrett, we'll let you tell us, how did you end up at Camden Summer School?
So Camden Summer School, my parents had informed me that my grades, they weren't too happy with my junior year. So they had found out about Camden and how they offered many courses, including some senior courses that I could take in addition to the junior courses that I didn't do too well in. And then that actually helped me progress even more because I was able to finish junior and senior classes. And then now my senior year, I'm able to take college courses. So that's my reason.
Awesome. Mikhail, same question to you. Why Camden Summer School?
All right, so I came to Camden Summer School because I failed freshman year and I had to repeat all my classes and get together with my parents, and we had a discussion on me coming to summer school, and we thought it was a good choice. So we had to, I had to get caught up with everybody else. So I came to Camden Summer School. Worked out.
Timothy, your turn. Why Camden Summer for you?
I just wasn't listening in the second half of my 7th grade year. I would not listen to my parents, go to school. I skipped school a lot and my grades plummeted. And so I was sent to Camden Summer School to get my grades up as well as my behavior.
Okay. And Nick, your turn.
So I ended up at Camden in a very similar way to the rest. I don't know if you know, I have a brother, and both of our grades were lacking, missing school and misbehaving at home. And I was already ahead in 8th grade with the 9th grade class, but I failed that class. And so my mom found Camden for summer. She knew that she was going to send us here for school year for the discipline. And so for the summer, I could retake that 9th grade class and also get another one of my 9th grade credits. So I would be ahead when I come for the school year.
Good. So we had these guys, as you can see, just as I mentioned earlier, working to kind of repeat some subjects, but also working to get ahead. And then, of course, a little, behavior, attitude adjustment. That's always a good thing to accomplish during summer school too. Want to talk about a typical day. So I'm going to throw it to Barrett, and just kind of from the high school program, Barrett, if you will, tell us what a typical day is like.
So a typical day in the high school program, we begin 6:30, 7 o'clock, waking up, and the structure is a very important thing. We clean our rooms, vacuum, make sure everything is spotless, and then we'll go out to breakfast. And then after that, we'll have our first 3 hours of classes, a little tutorial break so you can kind of get your stuff together, know what you need to do your homework if you can get caught up. And then we'll go to lunch, come back, and then do another 3 hours. Then we'll have a free time period for about 2-3 hours. You can go to the Carlisle House, play your games, hang out with your friends. And then after that, we'll have after dinner, we'll have a study hall, which is another 2-hour period. And that's where you're in your rooms, you're focused, and you're strictly on your academics, what you've done that day, and you'll review. And then after that, it's lights out at 9. I think it's 9 o'clock in the summer.
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
So basically, with the 3 hours, we have a 5-minute or 10-minute, I believe, break in between each hour. So don't freak out, you guys. If you guys, think, oh, I'm gonna have 3 hours of a class, solid 3 hours. No, it's not like that. You get a 10 5-minute break in between that, and it's really relaxing and chill.
Yes. It is a bit overwhelming because during our academic summer school for the high school students, they're getting about 130 credit hours in 2.5 weeks, and so it's a lot, of information thrown at them. So it is pretty intense. So that's why you get that break every hour, just to kind of break the monotony and move around. Now, Timothy, you were our middle school student. You attended the middle school program. So tell our viewers a little bit about how the middle school program differs from the high school. What's a typical day like for the middle school student?
Well, the middle school student was much more like a summer camp than a summer school. You would wake up same time at about 6:30 to 7. We would all the middle school students were were all together in the same company, and we would all wake up. We would all at about 6:30, 7 clean our rooms, go to breakfast, and get back. Go straight from there, like to finish up any homework you needed to, and go to school. Just the first 3 hours of the day, you would have literature, science, and math, and then you go to lunch and you'd go back. You wouldn't go to school, and you'd spend 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock doing some fun activity with some like coaches and directors at the summer camp. Then we went to dinner, went back and had this 2 hours of study hall from 7 to 9. Went to bed, repeated.
All right, good. And that's it. I mean, so the summer program for the high school is academically intense, as I mentioned, and then for the middle school, it's a nice mix. They do have the academic where they have a refresher of what they should have learned this past year, but then they also introduced to what should be coming up this coming year, their upcoming school year. So, and then of course they have the camp activities in the afternoons. Now we also have a 5-day program and a 7-day program. So you have lots of options with us here at Camden. The guys from Charleston, Charlotte, that's a pretty easy drive, to be a 5-day boarder. You could come in Sunday evening, have study hall Sunday night, and then leave us Friday after school as it gets out around 3:30. And then, of course, for the California guy and the guy from Iowa, you can't do that, unless you have family down here. So you would be a 7-day boarder. And on the 7-day boarding track, the weekends, we have some fun activities planned there. So I'm going to get, let's see, we'll go to Furlough. We'll let you talk about some of the weekend activities that you did last summer.
So some of the weekend activities, there was about 2 Carowinds trips. Carowinds is an amusement park up in Charlotte. We took 2 trips there, and we also went whitewater rafting at the Whitewater Rafting Center. They're all real fun. You got a lot of time to spend with your friends pretty much the whole day. And we also had a couple occasional movie trips on Sunday after some of those trips. If anyone wanted to go see a movie, some of the new movies at the nice theaters, and then you just come back later that night and you'd have free time. The trips were very fun. You got paid money to go spend at the parks, and you had plenty of time to do whatever you want. It was great.
And one good thing about our trip program during the summer, if you pay for the 7-day boarding options, all the trips are included. So there's no additional fees for the summer. Once you pay that tuition for the summer, everything is included. When we have the trips during the school year, you have the tuition, and then you have the optional trips you can add on. But again, everybody, as long as you're a 7-day boarder, gets to go on the trips with the tuition included there. We have our first question coming in on Twitter from Scott, and he wants to know, how is your roommate assigned for summer? I'll kind of start that, and then I'm going to pass it off to the guys. But initially, your roommate is going to be assigned by the TAC officers. The TAC officers are the adults, kind of the camp counselors. They're the dads while you're here. They're going to look at applications and hopefully put you with someone who you have, first of all, that's your own age, but then also maybe that you'll have something in common with. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. Some guys like that initial roommate and stay with them, but most guys go through some roommate adjustments. So, Barrett, tell us a little bit about your roommates, and did you keep the same one or did you change up?
So unfortunately, my roommate and I did not get along too well, but the people who are directing and who stay with us in the barracks, they're actually really, really good at placement. Maybe not initially, but if there's any problems, they're quick and they'll get you moved to a different room, or they'll have the roommate move to a different room. And after that, I got a different roommate. We got along very well, and it was pretty smooth going after that.
Yeah. Now, how about you, Mikhail? How was that roommate situation for you?
Well, my first ever roommate, we didn't get along, just like Barrett here. We didn't get along very well, so my tactical officer changed it up real quick, and I actually roomed with Nick Furlow's brother, Jack Furlow, and we got along great. And so I held him out for the rest of the time that we were in summer.
All right, good. And how about you, Napier? Was that kind of the same story over in the middle school program?
Yeah, my my first roommate, who I had for about a week, we didn't really get along, or we just had conflicting personalities. But after that week, we got to choose our new roommate, and for the next 5 weeks, I got along with my roommate just fine.
Good. And so basically the gist of it is, you may not like that first roommate, you may not like the second roommate, but you can talk to us. Don't suffer in silence for that roommate. Let us know, and then we can make the adjustments and changes so that you can have a good summer experience, because that roommate is very important in making that a good positive experience. Now, how about electronics, guys? I know a lot of people are kind of, oh my gosh, it's a military school, I'm going to have to give up my Xbox and my phone. So tell us how that works, Furlow. Tell us, did you have to give up your Xbox?
So you are allowed to bring your console, your game system, your TV, pretty much whatever you want that's electronic. But for the first 2 weeks, they'll take your phone, just so you're not, calling your parents and giving them to get a bunch of trouble, then having them call everyone at school here. And then going back to the consoles, you can bring all your game systems and play them all you want. They won't take that at all.
All right. And Barrett, anything to add on to that about electronics that maybe they should
So
bring?
for me, it was very important because I'm taking, junior, senior classes, and I was doing a lot of reports, stuff like that. So I needed my computer. And usually during the school year, they don't like the electronics during study hall, but during the summer, a lot more laid back. That your electronics, you pretty much have free use. The only thing they don't really like Furlow said, the first 2 weeks, and then also during study hall, if you're using your phone, you're not focusing. That's pretty much the only thing. Other than that, it's completely fine.
All right. And got another question here coming in on media. It says the program is called non-military. What does that mean exactly? Who can tell us the difference? So kind of compare and contrast school year to summer school. And Mikhail, we'll start with you on that one.
Okay. So non-military, it's not, you have a formation in high school. At least I was in the middle school program, obviously, but in the high school program, we had to get in a formation, which is practically where you get in pretty much a box of people, and you pretty much walk over to the dining hall, and you just walk over there. And in the regular school year for Camden, you have to form up, and you have to call it cadence, where they say left, 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 right. And, you kind of have to do that. And you have to do some other military things like drill with weapons and stuff like that. And you don't have to do that here. You have your own free will. And, you can practically do anything here.
Can I add to that?
Yeah,
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So the non-military, it's different because we had not gone to the military. This is just our first summer. So to me, it was structured. Everything was very scheduled. But other than that, it was not sort of like Barbara said, it wasn't, you're getting informations, everything like that. There's no rank involved. There's no student chain of command. You have tactical officers, which are sort of the people who are watching you in your barracks, but they're not really enforcing a lot of the rules that they do during the school year. During the school year, though, however, it's a lot more different in the military aspect. You have rank, you have kids who may be your age or older or younger than you who are in charge of you, is in your squad. The tasks are a lot more on you and everything like that. But the summer is it's getting your toes wet, so to speak. It gives you a good feeling for what the school's like.
You mind if I add to that?
Go ahead. Yep.
So during the school year, haircuts are required. You must have within 3 inches of hair on the top and on the sides. And uniform during the summer is not required. You're allowed to wear civilian clothes. Any clothes you bring from home, you're allowed to wear as long as there's no profanity or anything that's not supposed to be on them.
Yep. Good job. And Timothy, how about anything different over in the middle school part from what you've heard from these high schoolers?
A lot of it's just repeated. There's no formations, no uniform, no haircuts. The electronic policy is much more relaxed in summer. There's no cadet rank, which is really big, that runs the school year. But in summer school, you look at other cadets as equals.
Yeah, good job. All right. I have another question from Twitter that says, do you have a list of the 2017 activities by each weekend? The answer is yes. Do I have it with me right now? The answer is no. But if you will, send me an email to admissions@camdenmilitary.com, and I will certainly send you the list for this coming summer. Right off the bat, though, I think we talked about going to Carowinds. I think there's a paintball trip. We go down to Myrtle Beach, to a water park in medieval times, and there's another one out there. Oh, the National Whitewater Rafting Center up in Charlotte. So we go whitewater rafting there. They have routes courses, things like that you can do. But anyway, send me an email to admissions@camdenmilitary, and we'll get that to you tomorrow for sure. And also, while I'm talking about it, I'll go ahead and remind you for your questions, submit them using a hashtag Camden Summer. If you've participated in previous events, YouTube live events, it's been a different hashtag. So we changed it up to Camden Summer since that's our focus of this event tonight. Now, guys, you talked about, we kind of contrasted summer school to the school year. Did you feel like it benefited you at all by attending the summer program prior to the school year, prior to enrolling? So, Barrett, we'll start with you on that one.
I'll have to say yes for that. The main one for me was structure. Everything was, you wake up, you eat, you go and do your classes. It was very, very organized. In a regular day in civilian life where I would a lot more just, you have a lot more free time. You may not be managing that too well, but they make you manage your time a lot better, and that helps you for the school year too. Another thing I would have to say would be I'm drawing a blank. It would be I can't remember right now.
Not a problem.
Back if I remember it.
Not a problem. Mikhail, how about you?
Can I add on that?
Yep.
So it basically helped me with the campus, realizing where the campus is, where everything is, the academic hall, the Carlisle House, the field, the football field, the baseball field, the lacrosse field, everywhere, the layout of the school, pretty much is how it helped.
Yeah. I tell students it's definitely beneficial. If you have a student who maybe, is really reluctant about military school, again, it's kind of a good introduction. They get to learn all the staff and faculty. They get to know the TAC officers. They get to know the buildings again. And we do allow our summer school students to approach us during the summer and say, hey, Mr. Robinson, I'd really like to be in A company. I like that TAC officer. Or I'd really like to be in C and D company. But then we also have TAC officers that are telling me, hey, Casey, if that guy comes back in the summer, I want him, in my company during the school year. I'm kind of getting referrals on both ends, but we will try to make the families happy. But that's a benefit that we give our summer students, is if you come back to us during the school year, you can request the barrack that you would like to be in. I do want to talk a little bit more about what you do. How do you apply to Camden, that kind of thing. Our summer school process is different than the school year. It's not nearly as cumbersome. For the summer school, simply fill out an online application. We can send you a paper application. You answer questions, basically just demographic questions. We do have to look at, his grades. So we want an unofficial transcript. We're going to look at behavioral issues, things like that. As long as there's nothing too serious there, you'll get an acceptance letter. We will send out a parent handbook and enrollment forms. You'll have a packing list that is very detailed. And then you're able to begin here at Camden. We do not require the on-campus visit or interview for the summer. We're happy to do it if you want to. We encourage you to come visit, but it's not a requirement. If you come during the school year, we have to have that on-campus visit, or we have the Skype phone interview, something like that. However, another caveat, if you come to summer school and then you apply to the fall, you're automatically accepted upon successful completion of summer school. So as long as you come to the summer program and you don't get yourself kicked out or fail everything while you're here, then you're automatically coming back to us for the school year. On Snapchat, we got a question that says, what do I need to bring with me? As I mentioned, it's going to be a long list of things that you'll bring with you. When you get the list, it kind of looks a bit overwhelming, but most of it you already have at home. But guys, let's kind of rephrase that question as to what's something that you should not leave at home? What's something that you really should bring with you to Camden? We'll start out with Mikkel on that one.
Okay, so obviously you want books, paper, pencil, everything like that. I would say bring an extra comforter, like an egg crate or anything like that, because it's something that the beds, sometimes people get uncomfortable and you need an egg crate. So
Okay, how about Barrett? Your thing. What's your one item you would tell them to bring to summer school?
One item. Well, had I known my AC would have been like bipolar, I probably would have bought a better fan. But other than that, I think obviously electronics. That's the go-to.
All right. How about Nick and Tim? Anything that you guys want to add about something to bring? Nick, you go first.
All right. So one thing, a couple of things is bring a good amount of clothes, because you're going to go through them a lot. And if you send out your laundry, it takes a few days to get back. So if you're going to wear all your clothes and have one set left and send it out the laundry, expecting it to come back the next day, it's probably not going to happen. So bring a good amount of clothes to last you.
Okay. And Timothy?
Bring an extra pair of shoes for the paintball trip. Bring lots of food.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And we do allow guys to keep dry snacks in their room, so they cannot have a refrigerator or microwave, but Gatorade, chips, Pop-Tarts, whatever that they like to eat, they can kind of keep a supply of that in there. Then we have another question from Twitter. It says, what if my child does not want to come? Okay, hey, we're kind of used to that here at Camden Military. I interview a lot of young men, and the majority, I would say, did not wake up one day and say, oh boy, take me to military school. We do have some, but not very many. Guys, raise your hands when I ask you this question. How many of you, was it your idea to come to Camden?
For summer school or school year?
Summer school. Yeah, that's usually the answer. Nobody's. All right. So we're used to mom and dad kind of making the decision to, go to summer school. Any pieces of advice you could give a parent, guys, that maybe if they're considering and the student's real reluctant to come, what would you tell that student? And Mikkel, you go first.
Yeah. I would probably tell them, don't worry about it, because it's not as military as, it's not considered a military like school, it's not like, it is a military school, but it's not considered like a military summer, like you're not marching like a boot camp kind of a thing. It's not like that. It's really laid back military school.
Yeah. Nick, how about you?
Well, I came from the very similar background of not wanting to come and saying I wasn't going to go. My mom would always say, all right, you're going to go to military school over the summer. And me and my brother would always deny it and kind of ignore it. And then when Judgment Day came, my mom had a sat down talk with us and said, all right, listen, you got to get your grades up or else you're going to fail the grade and you're going to have to redo a grade, and that's going to look real bad in college, and it's going to ruin about a bunch of your life. And so we kind of agreed with it, and it's only for 6 weeks. We'll still have 3 weeks left of summer, so we kind of punked up and said, all right, well, let's do it. And so we kind of went through it, and it wasn't as bad. It wasn't bad at all. You're with your friends all the time, fun trips. It's not military. It's great.
Yep. And Timothy, you asked the question, or you said for summer school or fall. So was it your idea to come for the summer school?
It was not. I was very resistant at summer school. My parents said, if you don't get your behavior together, if you don't start going to class, we're going to send you to military school. And I said, no, you won't. No, you won't. And, well, look where I ended up. So
Now,
Uh,
whose idea was it to come back during the school year, though?
it was mine. I went to summer school. I hated it at the time. I resisted all I could. I hated it. I hated it. And I earned the opportunity to go back to my old school for the first semester. And once I had time and was at my old school, I thought about it and I realized how much of an opportunity Camden Military was. And I asked my parents if I actually could go back in the school year. And if I had to tell parents something, uh, it's going to be the best decision you ever make for your son. And if I had to tell future cadets something, it's not that bad. The hardest part is accepting it.
There you go. And that's it. I mean, even when you visit during the school year, I tell a lot of parents, the hardest part of the whole discussion of attending military school is that initial visit. If you can get your son here to see the campus, they'll feel a whole lot better. I know a lot of families kind of have the idea of military school, boot camp, the barbed wire, the armed guards. We don't have that. But it's a normal school. There's guys here. Yeah, their hair may be a little shorter. Yes, they all look neat. Their rooms are clean. Things like that. But we are a normal school, and we focus on academics. So we're not here to make anyone's life miserable. Myself and the other administration and faculty and staff, we don't lay awake at night just trying to figure out ways, what can we do to torture them tomorrow? We want these guys to be comfortable. And coming back in the school year, I think it really gives you a leg up, as these other guys have said earlier. Barrett, what was your situation? I think you said your mom actually thought of the idea first because of grades, but
It was initially my mom, but if I had to say something for parents to, if you're considering it, make sure your child is aware of the benefits of it, because as children, we don't see further out. We see, I'm going to military school, my life is over. But in reality, once I sat and thought about it, my parents told me, like, this is what the outcome could be, then it made sense a lot more. So make sure they know that it's not just the day by day. Make sure they see what they'll get out of it.
okay. Now we've got a Snapchat question. They wanted all of the cadets to answer this one, so we're going to give you all a chance. In your own words, what was the absolute hardest part once you got to Camden Summer School? So let's start with Nick on that one. What was the hardest part about coming to summer school?
The hardest part was getting to know everyone, because a lot of the kids, like Mr. Robinson said, that they don't want to be here. They think they're punks. They think they're bigger than it. And when you have a bunch of people that think they're bigger than everyone else, that's when conflict happens. So a bunch of people, will be yelling at each other. And then it's pretty hard to find those few people that actually want to be there, that don't mind it. So once everyone kind of realizes that, oh, we're stuck here, it kind of settles down.
Yeah, I think it definitely gets better. It's just that initial shock that, yeah, I'm in summer school, but I'm also not at home in summer school. I'm, at boarding school, summer school. And so it is kind of a first rough few days, but it does get better. How about Mikkel? Your turn.
Okay, so my hardest part about it was probably realizing that I wasn't home for the summer, because I could be surfing, Southern California, you got to go surfing, you got to go skateboarding, you got to do all that good stuff. And I couldn't do any of that, but it was all right. After the, past week, after the week went by, I was perfectly okay with everything. I just settled in and I was okay.
Okay. Timothy, the hardest part.
Good question. I think the hardest part was realizing that it was for my benefit and that my parents didn't do it as a consequence, that this place isn't a consequence, it's an opportunity, and getting myself to act that way, to act as it being an opportunity. It was really hard trying to make myself understand that this was an opportunity, not a consequence. And once I finally accepted that, this place is changed my life.
Good. And Barrett, for you, the hardest part.
For me, being 17, 18 years old, it's definitely waking up at 6:30 in the morning. That's just rough. It's tough. And then having to clean your room on top of that, it usually takes me like 30 minutes and a couple cups of coffee to get going. But that's one thing to get used to if you're older. Now, younger, I feel like probably being away from home or from the parents would probably be something that would probably be a little issue. But once you make friends, you get really comfortable with it. It's frightening the first day or two, but you get conditioned to it.
Awesome. All right, we have another question on Facebook coming from Kim. Do you have assistance for boys with ADD or ADHD? Yes, we do. Oh, Timothy's raising his hand. Hold on one sec. But we do have assistance more so during the school year because we get to spend more time with the students. However, during the summer, we do have small classes. Your classes are still going to be 12, 13, 14 people in a class. So you're going to be getting individual attention. It's easier to stay focused because there's the classroom interaction with the teachers. So that will certainly help. But Timothy, I think you were chomping at the bit to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, they definitely do. I'm mega ADHD. I'm always hyper and always distracted. And my family and I were very worried about that going in. It turned out never to really be a problem, despite my hyper history.
Yep.
It was really easy to stay focused. It was interactive, and it was easy to be attentive to everything, and it was a very accepting environment for ADD and ADHD.
Good. And we also have the question sometimes about medications. Do you have students that take medications? And how's that handled? We have 3 nurses on staff, and we do have a number of students taking medications for everything from simple things, ADD, ADHD, seizure medicine, diabetics, whatever. So yes, we will administer the meds. We'll keep in contact with the families back at home to get those refills into us so that there's no issues with him bringing medications to Camden. Just don't let him have it in his room. Make sure that you bring it in to us at registration. Now, a couple things that I want to kind of transition over to: parents' concerns, parents' issues, that kind of thing. But another reminder, if you have not asked us a question, or if you have another question you want to ask us on social media, just use that hashtag Camden Summer, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat. You pick it, we're there. And we'll get to those questions for these guys tonight. But a lot of parents struggle. Just earlier this week, I had a father come in my office, and he was very emotional. I didn't expect my child to leave home at 14, 15, 16 years old. They wanted him to wait until they went off to college at 18. So parents, it is kind of hard. But guys, how, as far as during the summer school, how often are you able to talk to your parents? How often are you able to see them if you're, within the Southeast region, I guess? So just share a little bit about how much you stay connected to your parents during the summer program. And let's start with the Iowa boy, Timothy. How often did you get to talk to your parents?
Personally, I didn't really get to talk to them just because I don't have a phone and my parents lived a ways away. But many people around me, it was easy for them. Parents can come in and visit anytime, and they can go home or on weekends. They can see or talk to their parents at any time. And if you have a phone, which obviously most people do, after the first week, once you get your phone back, you can talk to your parents whenever you're allowed to use electronics, which is free time. And you can ask, if you don't have a phone, you can ask the TAC officer, the camp counselor, if you can borrow the office phone. He'll of course say yes, unless it's study hall or something. But you can call your parents for as long as you need. It's not designed to keep you away from your parents. Yeah.
Good. And Barrett, you're kind of a closer guy, being from Charleston. So Charleston's maybe hour and a half, 2 hours away. How often did you get to see your parents during the summer program?
So I got to see them every other week, and that was actually their choice. For me, I'm a little bit older. It was fine, but every other week they came down. We went to go eat dinner. My sister would come. She's actually in college, but she made every visit she could, and it was really cool. I also I had my phone, so I stayed in contact with them, FaceTime, texted anytime I just wasn't feeling well or just anything like that. I need to talk to them. They were right there, so it was perfect for me.
Good. And Furlow, how about you? You're a Charlotte guy, so.
Yeah, so I mean, my parents are real close. I had my phone, so I could always talk to them. Always call my mom, make sure everything is all right at home. It was pretty easy to keep in contact. Nothing hard.
All right, good. Now we have another question from Twitter. It says, speaking of technology and staying in contact, do some summer school students come there and not have any technology or game access? Good question. We do have some students that will come to us, as Timothy came, without a phone. Some parents will say, I don't want him to bring that game console with him to Camden. And that's completely your decision as a parent. However, we do allow those things here. There's some rules and we're pretty tight and that kind of thing. But if you don't want him to have it, don't send it. However, he may end up playing or using someone else's that's here. So if you don't have an Xbox in your room, there's probably going to be 5 or 10 on the hallway, and so if he really likes the Xbox, he's going to find his way to get in there to play it. But again, he doesn't have to bring his own. That's a complete parent decision there. Some other parent concerns, do you necessarily have to make up credits when you come to Camden Summer, or can you work to get ahead? Both. If you're a high school student, you can earn 1 full academic credit in 2.5 weeks, or 2 full academic credit in 5.5 weeks. There's some new subjects, of course, we cannot offer during the summer, just because you can't, offer calculus and master that in a 2.5 week session. But if you were, say, taking a history or government econ, something like that, that's something that we could certainly accept as a new subject. Some students will also come in and want to just audit a class. So, if you have a hard trig class coming up in the school year, this is a good chance to sit in and not earn the grade, but just sit in and be exposed to the class. And that way you have a leg up on the other guys when it gets there in the fall. Hopefully it'll be a little easier for you. So again, there's some different issues with the high school, as far as different options for the high school as to what you can do. With the middle school students, again, they all take math, English, and science. Usually they're not earning credit to be promoted to the next grade, but we do have some that require that. So if you're going to a public school and you plan to go back there in the school year, but your son needs an English credit to come in for the summer to be promoted, then what we would do is, instead of taking math, English, and science early in the morning, he would take just English for 3 periods, and then he would be able to be promoted to the next grade. So particular questions like that, we can work with you. Each school district, public school district, is a little different. However, we are completely SACS accredited, advanced ed accredited. So all of our credits will transfer back to any public school. If you're a private school or a charter school, and we'll be going back there in the school year, it gets a little iffy if they'll accept the credits. However, if they're accredited, they usually will. It won't be an issue. One more question that parents ask is, will the grade that he earns at Camden replace the grade on his transcript, or will it be averaged with the lower grade? It depends on your school district. I will tell you, locally and here at Camden Military, if you come in and take a second class or a class that you've taken previously, say you made a D in it the first time, you make a B in it here at Camden, the B is what will be calculated into your GPA. So we won't focus on the D. The D will be there, but it will not be calculated in your GPA. So that's another good benefit of taking the summer. All right, guys, we're going to ask you a couple more questions, and then we'll be wrapping things up. So parents, viewers, get your questions in here so that we can answer them. And again, just use that hashtag Camden Summer. When you come in for the school year, it's a big culture shock. You're thrown into military structure. You're given uniforms. You get the short haircut. Just introduced to a whole different lifestyle. So again, I want to touch on how much of a benefit was it coming to summer. I guess tell me one big benefit of coming to summer. Was it the friends? Was it the attack officers? Was it the barracks? What did you pick up? One thing in summer that you picked up on that helped you be successful during the school year. And Barrett, let's start with you on that.
So for me, mine was actually academics. It was because I made up those credits for junior and then actually senior year. So I didn't realize this, but had I stayed at my old school, I would have been taking my regular senior courses. But here they offer dual enrollment courses, which are college type courses. You actually get college credit hours, and it's through you do it at the school, but it's through USC Lancaster, which are the nearby local colleges. And that was awesome because I never saw that like being a possibility. So now I'm over 30 plus college credit hours, which is enough for a freshman year. And that was just awesome. So I think academics is what, I don't know if like this classes prepare me for the enormity of the classes this year, but it definitely prepared me for what I was going to have to do. It got me focused, and it also got me motivated. So that was a big thing.
And Mikhail, same question for you.
Okay, so mine was probably getting to know the tax, because you have one company that you're in as high schoolers, and one company you're in are in middle schoolers. So when you're in the high schoolers, you have all the tax, well, mostly all the tax in one barracks. So you have like 5 different tax in one barracks, and you get to know them all. You get to understand what companies they run, how they run it, and you have a choice on what company you want to go to. So like Casey said, you have a choice that you want to go to, so you can have a hint of what the actual military school is like. So
Good. All right, we have another question from Kim on Facebook. What homework supervision is there, and is there study assistance during that time? So during the study hall, someone described study hall. We'll go with a high schooler, and then we'll go to a middle schooler. So Nick, tell us what the study hall is like during the summer school for the high school student.
So summer school was very similar to the school year. During study hall, there's an AOC, which is one of the teachers that teaches there on a regular school day. They come into the barracks, and the TAC officers either in the office or they are at home just waiting while study hall is over. During study hall, no phone or electronics are allowed unless it's for school. Computers. The AOC is one of the teachers, so they can walk around if you need any help. They can help you with your homework. During study hall, it has to be very quiet because some people are studying for tests, some are doing homework. And if you finish, you just sit there and just wait, read a book, or do something to pass the time.
Okay. And Timothy, middle school study hall time. Tell us about that.
Middle school study hall time. If you really were focused on doing your work, you had plenty of time to do it. If you didn't get your homework done, it most likely wasn't because of a lack of time provided. I would say that the academy has done everything they can to promote doing your homework, to promote staying focused in study hall, being quiet, not talking to your roommate, no using electronics in study hall. It's really up to you how you use the opportunities that the academy has provided to do your homework during study hall. Study hall is there. How you use it is up to you, but you can't say they didn't give you anything, because they really did.
All right. And then another question from Facebook. Do you like your teachers? Did you like your teachers? Could you understand your teachers? Were they relatable? How about Barrett? Take that one.
So I actually really liked my teacher. It wasn't put you to sleep. He talked about everything, especially what was on the task. But other than that, he was very relatable. I don't know, I only have one teacher, but I was here for 6 weeks for 2 separate classes, but within his, he taught both those classes. But I also met some of the other teachers from study hall and got to talk to them. And everybody, all the teachers here are very, very nice. They're also very helpful too. If you're struggling, say that day you had English or for English homework, you have an English teacher for the teacher that night. He'll help you. Everybody's very helpful. So the teachers, I got to like that experience.
All right. And another question I had come in was, can I take algebra during summer school? Yes. Just about every course that we offer during the school year is offered during the summer school. So the only thing that we don't offer is the honors classes, the AP courses, and the dual enrollment. So everything that you would take during the summer would be the college prep. But yeah, so Algebra 1 is definitely offered. If you have questions about specific courses, you send me an email at missions@camdenmilitary.com. Our contact information will come up as we sign off tonight. And then also any email that you send from the website comes straight to us as well. Another question is coming in. It says, is there internet access age restrictions, and how do the boys cope with no internet? So I'll kind of answer it, then I'll throw it to the guys. But No, there's no age restriction. We have public Wi-Fi areas, hotspots here on campus where they can go and log on to the internet. Internet is not available in their rooms. So in the barracks, they have no Wi-Fi unless the parents provide it. So we're not saying it's against the rules, but we don't encourage it, but we don't discourage it. It's a parental decision for that. However, guys, talk to them a little bit about the internet access here at the school during the summer. And Mikhail, we'll start with you with that.
Okay, so basically we have internet at the academic hall and at the Carlisle House. Those are the two main buildings that we have. We also have extenders where a Wi-Fi extender that you can bring and you can extend it to your barracks if you want to. Basically, it's a block server, so if there's anything that you're worried about your child looking up, there's always that block on there that it'll block it. Its main use, though, I would have to say, is for studying for most purposes. It allows you to go any website that's not blocked, pretty much. So if you have to look up science that night, you could look up a science project and you can get it done. English, same with English. You can look up a report or a book, that maybe the library doesn't have, which, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do, who knows. Yeah, that's basically.
Okay. And Timothy, do you have anything to add to that?
I do. Like Barrett said, the internet access is censored, like blocked. You can't look up any inappropriate websites, age restricted stuff. For people who have come in the school year, the library is closed and there's no Wi-Fi from it in the summer school, but the Carlisle House Wi-Fi and the academic hall Wi-Fi is still up and running. Like Barrett said, if parents are worried about their children looking up certain things, they don't have to worry about that. It's all blocked.
Good. All right, now let's talk about a parent probably is asking this question on social media. What study skills or organizational skills did you learn during the summer program? So did you guys learn anything, how to maybe study a little better or just how to be better organized by attending the summer? So Mikhail's shaking his head, so let's go to you.
Okay, so definitely, because when you're in study hall, you always have a teacher watching you, not all the time, but he walks up and down the hallways, make sure you're studying. If he just sees you sitting there just doing nothing, staring at the wall, he's going to get on you and say, hey, look, you need to start studying for this test, because he has a sheet that he has for all the teachers that have homework. And he also has tests and everything for the teachers. So he can look and see if you have a test that day or if you have homework due, and he can say, okay, you got this homework, yeah, it's a great organization wise. It definitely helps you with organization because you've always got your other peers, looking around you and saying, hey, look, man, you need to get this grade up, or you need to do this, because we're all family here. We all try to structure each other and we all try to help each other out as much as we can.
How about you, Barrett? Did you pick up any organizational or study skills that was helpful?
Study skills for me, when I was at my house, I wasn't too focused. Here, like they said, they don't let you use the electronics unless if it's for school, but it teaches you to stay focused. Like Barbara said, the only thing they can pretty much do is stare at the wall. And at that point, the teacher's going to step in. So if they're not doing that, they're doing their work. And that's what helped me, because I just needed just that focus, that censorship, just to do that. So that's what really helped. Okay,
cool. And guys, again, we're getting kind of close to the end here, so I'm going to give one last shout out about ways to get your questions in. Use that hashtag Camden Summer, and even if we can't get to them on the air while we're live, we will certainly get to them once we sign off. So just feel free to continue sending those. Just want to remind you again that they can apply. People can apply online. You can call us. We'll send you a paper application if you're uncomfortable with the online access. Very simple process. Once we get that application, we will contact you very quickly and set up if we need to talk to your son. And sometime we do, just something that we see on the application, whether it's academics, if he's made a 32 in algebra, we might need to talk to him a little bit. But typically an interview is not required for entry for the summer school program. One thing too I want to mention, about the school year. If you are considering the school year and you want to use the summer as a tryout period to see if it's going to be a good fit, I would encourage you to go ahead and apply for both the summer and the fall now, early, because this is the first year in about 6 years that we've been full. And so we don't want to get to a point where you come in, you experience the summer, you really like it, you want to come back, and then we have no room. That would not be good. So, if you come in and you apply for both now, you come in for the summer, you don't like it, you don't want to come in the school year, you lose $100. Our application fee is $100, but that's it. But if you want to come in, then you have a space saved for you there at the end of summer school. Guys, I guess I'm going to ask you a question. Just one piece of advice that you would give a student. Talk to another prospective student right now. What would you say to him if his parents have approached him and said, "Son, I think we're looking at military school for the summer. Things just aren't working well at home right now." What would you say to that boy? And Barrett, we'll start with you.
Don't knock it until you try it. That's one thing, but just like I said earlier, try and focus on the benefits. It's initially you're going to leave home. It's going to be upsetting. You're going to be taken out of your environment that you're used to. It's going to be uncomfortable, but that's just life. You're always going to have to go through those changes. So, except most changes sometimes aren't that good, but this one's a good change, and so just look for that. Don't look at the initial upset.
All right. And Nick, how about you?
Just accept it. There's pretty much nothing you can do about it. And it's your parents doing it to better you. If they didn't care, they wouldn't send you here. So their parents are doing it for the best of you. Good.
And Mikhail and Timothy, I'm going to ask you guys a little different spin on that question. Are you glad you did it? Are you glad you came to summer school? And Mikhail, we'll start with you.
Yes, definitely. I was definitely glad I came to summer school because it got me caught up to my class, and now I'm not lagging behind, and I'm not worried about colleges looking at that and saying, "Oh, well, he failed that." Now I'm caught up. Everything is good. So.
All right, Timothy, are you glad that you came to Camden Summer School?
In the sense that it has bettered my future, very much so. It was a great opportunity, but would I do it again? No.
Are you glad, though, that you got to come in and experience so that you wanted to come back in the school year?
Yes.
That's the question. Yes.
It's very, very helpful for returning cadets who want to come back in the fall. It's a great, not only just a primer to get to the to fall, but is good in and of itself.
All right. Well, guys, I guess we're going to wrap it up for tonight, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us live. And if you didn't catch it, if you tuned in late and you want to watch the full event, go to CamdenMilitary.com. We're going to have it recorded and posted there for you. We'll also have it posted on our YouTube site so that you can watch the entirety of it. But I want to thank these four guys for spending time with us tonight, and I think they all did a really good job, and hopefully the viewers got a lot of their questions answered. So once again, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll hope to see you soon here at Camden Military Academy. Thank you. Good night.